Oh, all right, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. We have a very interesting session coming up. The creator economy is set to double by 2027. That would be next year. And unscripted content leads the charge. But look, the real bottleneck here is not creative talent. There is creative talent everywhere, evenly distributed around the world. It's everything that happens between when you shoot and when you hit the button to publish it to the world. In our next session, we're going to dig into how modern production workflows close that gap. We've got AI-powered content discovery, cloud-connected collaboration, architectures that let remote teams work together without shipping hard drives around, which has its own set of problems. I know. I've been bitten by that bug. So whether you're a production company or you're a solo creator that's managing hours of raw footage, this session is for you. So please welcome Josh Lomas, a solution architect at Pixit Media, and he's going to take you on the journey.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name's Josh Lomas, solutions architect at Pixit Media. And for those who are not familiar with Pixit Media, we produce software-defined media storage. And this afternoon, I'll be talking to you about how modern workflows are reshaping unscripted content. So from set to social in minutes, what does that mean? So today we'll be looking at how we structure users' workflows and infrastructure. So to give you some background, I talk to production teams on a regular basis with regards to how to improve upon their workflows. We'll look at how these teams actually move their content and bridge the gap between capture and publish. So more often than not, I find that it's not necessarily the single site performance based on the existing hardware that's the issue. However, it tends to be the flow of content running through their workflow. Unscripted content is the growth engine. So let's talk about the unscripted boom. So looking at unscripted content such as reality TV series, live events, docuseries, etc., the creator economy associated with this is projected to double by 2027, according to research conducted by Goldman Sachs. So the fundamentals of media production have essentially changed. Audience expectations have, of course, shifted, with content now needing to have a fast turnaround, with clips for the media going viral alongside same-day social content being delivered. Formats built around real-time audience interaction outperformed scripted content by 3 times the level of engagement, which leads us to a social-first distribution, which is a crucial element of the workflow, as short-form clips drive 60% discovery. So every show needs a social-driven edit pipeline. The production companies that are winning today are the ones that publish first, not necessarily the ones with the biggest budgets. The competitive advantage now isn't just the production value, but the speed of which that it is published. It's not creative talent, it's the workflow. So moving on from the speed of publishing, let's now turn our attention to workflows and spend a moment to focus on where the real bottlenecks occur within the workflows. So let's look at the capture to publish timeline. If our goal is to go from set to capture to publish as quickly as possible, then we need to look at where we can make significant gains. So it's typically never the edit that's slow, it's everything that comes before the edit. So where we mainly see time being lost is from the fact that physical drives need to be shipped from location to facility and therefore spend a lot of time in transit. So second this, with editors not being able to potentially successfully search for the necessary content that they need, meaning that editors are waiting for media or having to raise IT tickets to retrieve that particular media. Alternatively, potentially having to recall it from archive. This is the workflow problem that we'll be looking to address and solve over the next coming slides. start cutting while cameras roll. Let's now come on to being able to edit while recording. So if we look at the content being created on location with remote editing, with the likes of sporting event coverage and live broadcasts, for example, both with the same challenge of growing files and content that needs to be cut, all whilst being simultaneously ingested. So we need to be able to ingest from any source, transcode to edit-ready proxies, as well as enrich the files with any potential additional metadata. So using Pixelmedia's Engineer within the workflow, it has the ability to replicate growing files in real time so that editors can cut live content with the end result of being able to deliver content such as the likes of social media teasers, highlight packages, etc., both of which being able to be published on the same day. Make raw footage instantly searchable. So with the content now being ingested, how do we make it findable? So having an awareness of what media you have can yield up to approximately a 75% cost reduction on operational costs. So regardless of how quickly the ingest is happening, how do we make it instantly searchable? The old method would be to typically manually scrub through the media, consult logs, and potentially speak with other teammates or colleagues, which of course is rather time consuming. However, now by utilizing Iris, which is Pixelmedia's media discovery tool with AI functionality built in, we can speed up the process with files being indexed immediately across every tier, AI transcription, which means the user can search with what was said instead of file name, as well as being able to preview assets before making a potential costly decision to recall a series of files. Set to social in minutes, not days. So to achieve the solution of set to social in minutes and not days, we don't just buy storage, but instead we need to consider the data flows. So how do we get our content from location to our editing facility? So we as Pixelmedia, we are a prime data solution partner that have all of the necessary products within our ecosystem that thinks about the job that needs to be done. So if we combine Engineer, which is our policy-driven orchestration application, alongside with Swarm, which is our scalable object-based storage platform, alongside Iris, which of course is our content discovery tool, adding in Engineer Cloud Archiving, and pair this with a Pixstore, which is the physical high-performance storage drive element, position that on location, you now have a complete solution for all your data management needs. So now let's look at the benefits that this complete solution will have. Keep your operation lean as content scales. So unscripted content generates massive volumes per shoot on a daily basis. So let's say unscripted content on average would generate, let's go with 10 terabytes per day. And this daily content is essentially potentially left untouched after 30 days, sitting idle on your expensive NVMe hot storage. Then this quickly becomes inefficient, both from a workflow perspective, creating bottlenecks, for example, as well as it being financially unsustainable if you were to apply an old school IT, media IT approach of let's just buy more petabytes of stuff. So if we follow on with let's buy more petabytes of stuff, this of course is inefficient and financially unsustainable. So you typically end up over provisioning when you do just buy more storage for the sake of it. And if to that point you actually look at some of the cost curves on this, most productions typically only need 20% of their storage estate to be very hot, i.e. NVMe. The remainder of it can go out to object storage or nearline, and almost 50% of it statistically can go out to cloud archive. So how do we go about achieving this? We can implement a solution using Engineer's policy engine, allowing for intelligent tiering, moving completed projects to cost-effective storage automatically, giving us an outcome of storage costs following the content lifecycle and not the content volume. So in a nutshell, no IT tickets, no over-provisioned storage, and costs follow lifecycle automatically. So now let's bring this all together. One stack, 4 problems solved. Let's look at the 4 pillars of Pixit Media. Firstly, with collaboration. We've got Pixstore, our high-performance software-defined storage solution, which will handle the live ingest and the editorial workflows across multiple locations. The second pillar being discovery, with our content discovery tool, allowing users to improve upon how they search for media. Moving away from that, as previously mentioned, traditional file name-based searches and replacing that with the ability to, for example, search by what was said and not where it was saved. Couple that with Iris's tight integration with Pixstore, any changes that are applied to the media or its metadata are indexed immediately, and therefore all of the changes are available to the other users, irrespective of their location. The third pillar, which is orchestration, being our Ingenia application, designed for moving files and media to and from various places automatically. And then lastly, the fourth pillar, data management, which is ultimately built in to every tier of our storage solution platform, giving users the ability to tier intelligently and scale without overspending. So to finish, if we look at a traditional stack, users would typically need 4 vendors, 4 service contracts, and 4 different integrations. Now compare this with a modern Pixit Media stack. Users only need 1 platform with 1 partner, and this is accomplished by using Iris for discovery, Pixstore for storage, Ingenia for orchestration, and Pixstore for collaboration. So that brings us to the end. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. I'm Josh Lomas, Solutions Architect at Pixit Media, and you can visit us in the West Hall on booth W1332. Thanks very much, and have a great day.